Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury, on straight we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gate flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury, on straight we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gate flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in for what will be another great night of racing action here with the Metalheads Truck Series. As each and every one of these drivers getting loaded into the sim, they're looking for the win here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway, as we'll get them all locked and loaded and ready to rumble as qualifying coming to a close. And now we see them all getting lined up here on the pit lane here, getting ready to rock and roll. And from the pole, it'll be the number 42 in the Mühlberger Custom Homes ride. We're waiting for him to load into the sim. It's Kevin Winker who will start in the pole position here this evening. To his outside in the 196, that will be Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner will start there in position number 2. To the inside of row number 2, though, it is the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell. Starting back in position number 4 in the 318, it's Matthew Catania, and then we do see Keith Prince starting in that 5th position. To his outside in the 27 ride, that is Nick Gardner, starting there in 6. Starting back in 7th in that beautiful QH Designs Ghost Energy number 97, it is Colton Hardy. To his outside in the stack up ride, that is Nathan Somerville. Starting in position number 9 in the 12 ride, that is Michael Newman. And riding out our top 10 in the beautiful number 33, that is Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. Starting in the 11th spot in the number 5 ride will be the Razor ride of Matt Hayden. To his outside will be that Sinclair Dino Care number 6 of Rusty Modesty. David Trailer in the QH Designs number 54, Skylar Berry, Rooster Rodden, the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr., Clinton Woodby and Jesse Calloway bringing up the rear of the field in the Liquid Death number 4 ride, as we have 18 drivers loaded in, ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle here this evening from the always beautiful, always amazing Michigan International Speedway, man. It's going to be another great night of racing action, another amazing night of battling here with the Metalhead Truck Series. And for each and every one of these drivers, they'll be looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane. But look at Kevin Winker, man. K-Dub qualifying in that pole position. He's got that Mühlberger Custom Homes Sonic graphic design number 42 out in front and ready to rumble, and hoping to see if he can find his way back into victory lane, as this is our regular season finale here this evening. Is nice and easy down and in to that restart zone. And here we go, the 42 of Winker sees that green flag fly. Great restart though on the outside groove for the 196 of Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner's looking to edge out in front of that number 42 down into corner number 1, but here comes Winker. Gonna send it in there deep, big drive down to the inside, hoping to try to slide up and clear. Caleb Kleiner off of corner number 2, gets a little loose though doing so, but he is able to clear that 196 in 4. Mr. Winker, he'll jump out in front. So he's got the race lead. He'll look to try to hold them off, trying to lead lap number 1 here this evening. But for Caleb Klein, looking to try to battle his way back up there. Catania's right there as well in that Dirt Vision number 318 machine, trying to work his way up here and into that battle for the race lead. See if he can try to work his way around his teammate in that 42 of Kevin Winker, as K-Dub leads lap number 1 here this evening. So Winker leads our first lap of the race, as Caleb Kleiner will sit back a little farther there in position number 2, as Catania there in 3rd, Nate Cogdell in 4th, and then we do see Nathan Somerville already up into that 5th position. Colton Hardy there in 6th. Unfortunately, Keith Prince in that beautiful JMB Lawn Care number 3 machine. The Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride continues to fall back here this evening in the Dunk Donuts 200 here at Michigan International Speedway. Huge shout out there to our race sponsor and series sponsor, Duck Donuts, man. We'll go through their commercial later on this evening, but for right now, it's Caleb Kleinert who's going to make the move. He jumps back around Winker, and Caleb Kleinert takes over that race lead, so Kleinert now out in front. K-Dub slides back into second here. Let's see if Winker can try to battle his way back up there, see if he can work his way back to the point, back into the battle here, and see if he can maybe try to snag that race lead back away. But, oh, look at that. Big slide there for Winker out of corner number 4. Big slide, lost that front end, washed up the racetrack. Luckily enough, he was able to catch it, keep it from getting in the outside fence. We can see how much of that momentum he loses down that front straightaway, man. Having to roll the throttle, having to get onto the binders like that, killed all the speed out of that 42 ride, and he falls from battling in second to now just trying to battle his way back inside the top 10. Now sits in the 11th position. You saw Nate Gongdale right on his back bumper there. Gongdale had to get jacked up as well to try not to run over that 42 ride. Did not want to bring out our first caution flag of the day, and unfortunately, with him checking up as well, he lost all those positions. It went from battling in position number 4 to all of a sudden back in that 13th spot on the Speedway. So tough early break for both of those drivers, but they'll look to try to battle back. But out in front, making some moves. Here comes a few of those other drivers a little deeper in the field, navigating their way to the front of the pack here, as it is the 97 of Colton Hardy who now has control of this race on lap number 4 here this evening. David Traylor, his QH Design teammate, right there with him on his back bumper, and here comes Jesse Calloway. Calloway started all the way back in 17th on that final row out there on the racetrack, and here he is battling his way up and into that 3rd position on the racetrack. As a lot of these drivers, the big question mark here this evening will be tire wear. For each and every one of these drivers, they know that tires are going to be very, very important at a racetrack here like Michigan International Speedway, and with not having a lot of sense back behind pit wall, they're going to have to be obviously very, very cautious about when they're using their tires out there on the racetrack, when they're abusing those tires, and how they got to kind of figure out when they're going to put new tires on down pit side to work into their favor later in this race to try to put themselves into the winner's circle. But obviously early on, a couple big mistakes, a couple big movers here, and we see a lot of drivers going forward, a few drivers going backwards, and now we're starting to see even, Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert has definitely been on the backslide since he gave up that race lead after getting it back from Kevin Winker. Here he is up on the high side through 1 and 2. He's going to lose position number 14 here to that number 3 machine of Keith Prince. So for Caleb Kleinert, he goes from virtually what was the race lead to now all of a sudden in only a few laps back into that 14th spot on the Speedway. And he didn't have a big slip up. He didn't have a big slide like we saw out of Winker, and unfortunately here for that 196 machine, I don't know if this is strategy, if this is just part of his game plan, or if that truck is just starting to fall apart out there on the racetrack. Maybe he's starting to run into some of that tire wear already, being aggressive, putting that pressure on Winker and trying to move around the 42 Ryan as fast as he did. May have burned up a little bit more than I think he was hoping for, and now trying to save up as much as he possibly can out there on the racetrack, as you do see Clinton would be able to work his way around him. Matt Hayden's right there as well. There are a couple drivers that I know are always on that strategy of trying to save, and hope that it works into their favor. And you look even farther back at Nick Gardner here. Gardner is really back here, man. He is way back, almost 7 seconds behind our race leader. Really off the pace, but really saving tires out there on the racetrack. Last time around, he laid his quickest lap of this race, which was a 41.47, which is virtually a second slower than almost everybody in front of him for their quickest lap, and honestly, that's still more than half a second slower than a lot of these drivers up towards the front of the field here. So obviously trying to play that tire strategy to the extreme level for that 27 truck. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out for him, as we do see David Traylor able to work his way around Colton Hardy. Hardy is going to slide back Now into position number 3 to the minimum, but here comes Skylar Berry as well. Berry looking to try to work his QH designs. Detroit Lions number 46 truck up to the front here, into the battle here as well for that race. Lee Catania still hanging right there with them in that second position. He's been probably the most consistent driver up here inside the top 3, inside the top 5 out there on the racetrack. Everyone else has been moving around here a ton, either sliding backwards or working their way forward, and now starting to feel a little bit more of that tire wear, starting to fall back themselves out there on the racetrack, and just producing some great racing. A lot of door-to-door action, a lot of big movers, a lot of goers too out there on the speedway. We'll see how this all plays out, but for David Traylor, he'll click off lap number 10 here in our first stage of the day, as we'll be inching closer and closer to the end of the first stage here this evening. Now, I didn't get an actual full race information here on this race, but I expect that we're going to see the stage break somewhere around lap number 20, maybe like lap 25, somewhere in that area. So we'll be on the lookout for that caution flag, and whether or not it's for an issue out on the speedway or if someone, you know, completes this stage, and we see our first stage winner of the evening. So for David Traylor, he's just looking to keep himself here at the front of the field, knowing that there's stage points, playoff points, and he knows that he is in a tight battle here for the regular season championship with Clinton Woodby, and that's going to be one thing we'll have to keep a bit of an eye on here. That's going to be one thing we'll really have to keep an eye out for and see, you know, who's going to be in that good spot, who's going to have that advantage, as Clinton Woodby came in here with about 6 points between himself and David Traylor for that regular season championship. So 6 points between the 54 and the 92 out there on the racetrack. Now we see the 92 a lot deeper in the field here. Obviously, David Traylor out in front leading laps. You take a look back in about the 12th position now. You see that Sears Diehard 92 machine of Clinton Woodby. So Woodby trying to slice and dice his way forward here. I think he's been playing a little bit safer, a little bit cooler, trying to save maybe a little bit of tire here as well. But at some point, you got to stop worrying about those tires and look to start to try to gain some of these stage points, knowing that they are going to be super valuable into a driver like Clinton Woodby, who wants to try to win this regular season championship, knowing that it not only comes with a little extra money, but maybe some extra bonus points as well towards the playoffs. So you want to make sure that you're up there and you're putting yourself into the position that you want to be to try to at least get this regular season championship. But that being said, maybe he's just playing it for the win. He knows that if he goes out there, even if David Traylor wins this first stage and comes home second, if he can still just go out there, give up, you know, get no stage points, but win the race, maybe it'll put him in a better position. Maybe that will be the difference maker, and he'll still have enough points that he can try to, you know, still win this regular season championship. So maybe giving up a little bit right now, but try to get it back later in the race for that Sears Diehard number 92 machine, as the regular season championship points winner does get an extra $30 here to their name tonight. So $30, you know, that is a couple good meals or something down from, you know, McDonald's. That's, you know, a couple months of iRacing. You know, it can go a long way in the grand scheme of things, that $30. And obviously for Clinton Woodby and for David Traylor, they're going to be duking it out here in this one. And then who knows what kind of advantage it gives you as well going in to our playoffs here next Monday night from Richmond Raceway. So that's going to be fun going to Richmond for our first race. I think that first round is going to be really, really interesting when you throw in Richmond. You get Kansas in there, which is a very, very fun 1.5-mile speedway, and then Iowa, another really tricky, you know, short track race. So you get two short tracks that are really, really technical, really, really interesting, really fun, but can wreak havoc out there on the racetrack. And then the starts our second round of the playoffs, man, we go Martinsville, which can be a very wild card race, can be a very chaotic one, and then Kentucky, another good 1.5 miles, and then Daytona, which is kind of another wild card race. leading into Homestead for our championship night here in the Metalheads Truck Series. So the series is coming to a close in a quick hurry with only 7 races left to go here after this afternoon. But for the regular season championship, still very much alive here in this one. Is out in front, David Trailer continues to lead the way, but he's got a whole gaggle of trucks around him, looking to try to knock him into that top spot, looking to try and take the stage win away from that 54 machine. As you do see Skylar Berry right there, one driver down and onto the apron right there. I believe that was the 318. Was that Catania or was that the 12 truck of Michael Newman? Somewhat shot down to that infield in a quick hurry. Luckily enough, they all keep pointing the right direction. David Trailer keeps on leading, but you do see Modesty now up and into second here. Somerville rolling into third, and K-Dub Kevin Winker trying to work his way back up through the top 5 here, trying to work his way back to the front of the field in that Muhlenberger Custom Homes number 42 ride. As we do see the 4 unfortunately getting off, scrape the outside fence for Jesse Calloway. That'll kill a little bit of speed and momentum for him down in through corner number 1 and 2, and he'll slide back into about the 7th position on the racetrack. But Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., the 12 of Michael Newman, Rooster Rod in the 46 of Skylar Berry, all right here in this group, right in this lead pack, all separated by less than 2 seconds out there on the racetrack, and a little over 2 seconds, about 2.7 seconds back from that lead pack. You do see Ash Elson Jr. A little farther back, you see Clinton Woodby and Matt Hayden. And then you do see Nate Cogdell, Keith Prince, Nick Gardner, Caleb Kleiner, the 196, way back here in the 18th position, really trying to save some tire out there on the racetrack. And I think for a lot of these drivers, that's just the strategy, man. Give it up on stage points, knowing that they want to make sure they got these tires in their back pocket for our A-main feature, or for the rest of this A-main feature event, and having that extra little bit of dough in their back pocket could definitely help them out later in the evening, as right now it is that 54 of David Trailer who continues to lead the way, continues to lead the charge here at Michigan. And now 20 laps on the board here. So 19 laps completed. We're on our 20th lap, and I believe this may be the final lap of our first and only stage of the day, and that's going to make things very interesting, not only for stage points, but it'll make things very interesting when you look at, who's going to be coming down pit road, who's going to be taking tires or fuel or anything else to try to work into their favor out there on the speedway. But for right now, it's David Trailer who continues to hold on to this top spot. He's definitely using up his tires, trying to keep these drivers back there at bay and across the line. He will complete lap number 20. So lap 20 off the board here, and we'll see if they go a little bit farther, if this stage is going to go another couple laps, and it looks like it may, because that caution flag has not been thrown as of yet. So no stage break yet for these drivers, so they're going to have to keep their foot in the throttle, keep on duking it out, keep on battling to see who can try to put themselves into a good spot here in our first and only stage break of the day. Here comes Somerville trying to battle back down to the inside of Rusty Modesty, looking to try to take over that second position out there on the racetrack. Modesty, though, rolling that outside groove. They're all trying to hunt down this 54 ride of David Trailer. David is loving seeing these guys battle door to door back there behind him, potentially slowing them down and allowing him to open up a few truck length lead here and trying to run away with this first stage of the day. As you see Catania able to get the power down on the outside of the 28 ride. Unfortunately for the 28, had to get checked up there a little bit. And you do see the 97 of Colton Hardy gets up into the outside fence there at a corner number 2. And unfortunately, that will slide him back into the 9th spot out there on the racetrack as David Trailer leads us down through corner number 3 and 4 once again. And for that Sonic Graphic Designs, Dunkin' Donuts, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, QH Designs, number 54, David Trailer will lead lap number 22 here as well, man. This 54 truck again, man, hooked up here, looking really good. Picked up the double last Monday night, and he's looking to try to cash back in with another win here this evening, knowing that he needs to get as many wins as possible and obviously try to get as many points as possible if he wants to try to leapfrog Clinton Woodby for this regular season championship. And winning the stage will draw him a whole lot closer and put that into perspective a whole lot sooner than I think Clinton Woodby was hoping for. I think he was hoping for somebody to jump up here and maybe knock him out of that top spot, but so far has not been lucky enough with that yellow flag, as we do see Rooster Rodden head down pit road here. So Rooster heads down pit side, pitting a little bit sooner than everyone else and just prior to the stage break. So he's looking to get a little extra splash of gas and going here and hoping that maybe this can cycle him to the front of the field, as you do see tires going on as well. So he's going to get right sides. Looks like he's going to get left sides as well. There we go, as the crew jacks that truck up, and they're going to put 4 tires underneath that 0-1 ride. Now we'll see where he kind of comes out compared to our race leaders. Unfortunately, I believe he is going to fall a lap down out there on the racetrack, so that's a bit of a heartbreaker there for him. But for David Trailer, licks off another lap, man. 24 laps down here at this feature event. We roll closer and closer to that quarter marker here, almost 25% of the way through this feature event, as David Trailer leads us down the back straightaway. Matthew Catania, Rusty Modesty, Kevin Winker, and Jesse Calloway are top 5 out there on the Speedway, as Nathan Somerville falls back into 6th. He's got Michael Newman, Colton Hardy, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. all right there with him. A little farther, you do see Ashley Ellison Jr. now into that 10th position, but it looks like Ashley Ellison maybe looking to come down pit road here as well. No, looks like Ashley's just desperately saving out there on the racetrack. I don't know if this is saving fuel or if this is saving tire, but nonetheless, we do see that caution flag fly, and our first stage is going to come to a close as David Trailer does exactly what he set out to do here. Winning this stage, drawing in a lot closer to Clinton Woodby here for that regular season championship. So it's almost heads up. It's going to be really, really tight in the points between the 54 and the 92, as Clinton came home in 13th there in that stage. He'll earn no stage points, but he may still have the advantage here. He was a whole lot easier on those tires, trying to save throughout that first run of the day. We'll see if that kind of works into his favor, sets him up nicely for late in this race, trying to get an extra set of fresh tires later on to use to his advantage, as David Trailer, Catania, Kevin Winker, Jesse Calloway, Rusty Modesty are top 5 there in that stage, with Nathan Somerville, Colton Hardy, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Michael Newman, and the number 46 of Skylar Berry is our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Now, we did see Rooster Rodden make that pit stop back on lap number 23. Unfortunately, he did go a lap down, but he's the only driver a lap down, so he will get the lucky duck. He will get back on the lead lap. He'll just lose a lot of track position. He'll be at the rear of the field, and unfortunately for the 0-1 ride, he'll also not only give up a lot of track position, but he does have a couple, green flag laps with these tires. So even though they're pretty new, they're pretty solid, I mean, they're going to be a little bit more worn out than, the new drivers with new tires down pit road right here. But we're going to see a lot of other drivers probably go with a no tire pit stop. We'll have to keep a close eye on that one as they get ready to head down pit side for the first time here this evening. Is our operator in the chat. What's good, Bruce? Bruce coming in showing the love, says hashtag Winker Nation. As K-Dub comes home third there in the stage. He's third down pit road. And for Winker, leads some laps early in this race, qualifying in that pole position. Coming home third here in the stage. Man, Winker's looking like he's got a pretty decent truck here this evening. Now, we do see a few drivers earn black flags down pit road here. We'll have to wait and see what the penalty may be for that, because we see a black flag for Matt Hayden, I believe Keith Prince, Nate Cogdell got one, Nick Gardner got one. Clinton Woodby one of our championship runners here. He got a black flag there as well. Now, I'm not sure if that was just pit road doing some pit road things, if that may have affected them, but we do see Keith Prince came down pit road, but I don't know if he just missed his pit stall again. I don't know, we've seen him do this a couple times. It's kind of surprised us as he's come down pit road. I don't know if he just uses that to kind of fake out some of these other drivers, but man, I don't know what the strategy call was there. If he just wanted to go down pit road and miss his pit stall, or what the idea was, but nonetheless, he does keep on rolling. He will be our race leader, so we'll see if he can at least lead a lap out there on the Speedway, or if he heads back down pit road right here. As K-Dub in the chat says, holy, what a save that was by me early on, laugh out loud. Yeah, that was a crazy one, brother. That was a crazy save. That was a big slide down at corner number 4. We were quite surprised that you were able to hang on to it and even still battle back. And obviously, not only was it big enough that it kind of messed you up and sent you back deeper in the field, but it also, unfortunately, had the 0-0 of Nate Congdell checking up not to run over you or run through you. And unfortunately, he ended up losing a lot of positions there as well. So a heartbreaker there for him, heartbreaker for yourself, but good job battling back here inside the top 3 for the stage, and now getting ready to restart in position number 2. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble here, we'll get a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Duck Donuts caution flag of the day. Alrighty, shout out there to Duck Donuts as the Duck Donuts 200 about to go back to green flag racing for our final stage of the day. That was our only stage break, and now for all these drivers, they know it is time to go. The pay window is open, and our first restart of the afternoon. Out in front, it is Kevin Winker, who's battling door-to-door with that 6-rider Rusty Modesty as we ride right on board here with that 4-ride of Jesse Calloway. And you see these drivers, how they spread out all the different lanes here at Michigan International Speedway, and it looks like for Kevin Winker, it's going to work out well for him. Is down and out of corner number 2. He will jump back out in front. KW in the chat says, truck feels fast tonight. It definitely looks fast tonight as well, KW. It is looking good out there on the Speedway as he's back out in front, holding on to the race lead. As we see Laura Stacy in the chat as well says, go number 5, cheering on Matt Hayden. Here's Hayden now up and into that second position on the Speedway, as a lot of these drivers playing a lot of different tire strategy, a lot of different fuel strategy there throughout that earlier run, and now it's going to come all down to the fun here in the final run of the day. Now this is potentially going to be our final restart of the evening if we don't see a caution flag. Now we've seen these guys do a fantastic job over the last few weeks, and very minimal yellow flags out there on the racetrack, and this could be another one, man. It is a big racetrack. There's a lot of lanes. There's a lot of choices that you can make out there on the Speedway to go high, down low, through the middle, or even a couple of the extra lanes that they kind of have out there at Michigan International Speedway. So there's lots of room to maneuver. Now there's still always that opportunity to see someone make a mistake or lose the handling and go around out there on the racetrack, especially as these tires start to fade away. But we could see this stay clean and green for a very long time, and that is going to play very, very good for some of these drivers that are a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the tire saving out there on the Speedway. As Kevin Winker out in front has the race lead, and this time he's looking to run away with it as the Muehlberger Custom Homes number 42 down and across the line has just over half a second between himself and Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner back there in position number 2, battling his way back from the rear of the field up to the front of the pack here, and he's looking pretty good here in this second and final stage as well. As Matt Hayden Nate Congdale in the 0-0, and the 92 of Clinton Woodby, all inside the top 5. Modesty's fallen all the way back into that 6th position with Matthew Catania, Jesse Calloway, Nick Gardner, and David Trailer rounding out our top 10. Keith Prince back in 11th with Colton Hardy, Nathan Somerville, Michael Newman, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., our top 15. And then we do see, unfortunately, still one lap down out there on the racetrack is the 0-1 Rooster Ron, and Skylar Berry has also fallen a lap or two down out there on the racetrack in that 46 ride, and Ashley Ellison Jr. has also lost a lap or two out there on the racetrack. I do believe for Ashley, he is 2 laps down. I think Skylar Berry is still only 1 lap down, but he's very, very close to going 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, as we'll have to take a look here. As, yeah, he's just down across the start-finish line. Our race leader is just down the front straightaway as well, so for Winker, not too far away from potentially putting that 46 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and that'll make it very, very tough for not only Rooster Rodden, who's 1 lap down to battle back, but for Skylar Berry and Ashley Ellison Jr. to fall that far back this early as well is not a fun spot to be out there on the racetrack, and it could be a very, very long day for them. But out in front, it's Kevin Winker. K-Dub has that race lead. He sits out in front, and he is hoping to keep each and every one of these drivers back there at bay, back behind him, and off his back bumper out there on the speedway, as he's trying to get it done here in this one, man. And so far, that 42 has just been looking absolutely stout out there on the racetrack. And he's been looking like the car that everyone's been chasing, everyone wants to beat here this evening. But it all is going to come down, I think, here to maybe a late race caution flag, late race tires, and who's going to have the best tires and the best opportunity to use them to their advantage and hopefully put themselves up and into victory lane. So we'll have to wait and see who can get it done here in this one. But for right now, Winker leading the charge and pulling away here from the rest of the field. He's out in front now by about 2.4 seconds between himself and Caleb Kleinert, which is quite surprising to see that he's opened up this big of a gap out there on the racetrack. Normally, Michigan acts kind of more like a drafting racetrack, especially on these restarts. We see a lot of times the drivers are able to kind of hang right there on his back bumper, and they kind of all stay together in a bit of a pack out on the racetrack. And unfortunately, here in this one, man, things are a whole lot more broken up out there on the speedway, man, and it's going to make things very, very interesting to see kind of how this all plays out and who is going to come out on top here this evening. But for right now, it is K-Dub who continues to lead the charge here, continuing to try to keep these guys back there at base. So we'll have to wait and see what he's going to do here this evening. But for right now, man, looking good. He's looking pretty stout out front, man. He's definitely not looking bad out there on the racetrack. So we'll see, if he's able to keep on battling, if he is able just keep on pulling away from these guys. As Winker is just on a different planet right now out there on the racetrack, and you see that gap even back to, between our 3rd and 4th place drivers, Nate Cogdell, Clinton Woodby, Matthew Catania. They're trying to work their way back up into Caleb Kleinert and Matt Hayden out there on the racetrack, as you see the 46 of Skylar Berry unfortunately going a 2nd lap down as Jesse Calloway, David Trailer, Nick Gardner, and Rusty Modesty, who restarted the front of the field, is all the way back into that 10th position on the racetrack here. Colton Hardy back behind him in position number 11 with the 28 of Nathan Somerville, the 3 of Keith Prince, the 12 ride of Michael Newman. They were in 14th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. rounding out our lead lap drivers in that 15th position, as Rooster Ron, first car 1 lap down. Skylar Berry, first car 2 laps down, and Ashley Ellison Jr. at the back of the pack, also 2 laps down there in that 18th position. But for K-Dub, he's out in front. He is feeling A-OK. He's feeling absolutely fine here at the front of the field and looking to try to keep all these drivers away from him here this afternoon, hoping that he can try to put himself up and in to the winner's circle here at Michigan International Speedway. I believe this is a bit of a home track race for Winker as well, so that's another cool aspect of it, man. I believe this is one of Winker's, I believe this is his home track race So that's always fun, man. We can get to your home track, home state racetrack, and go out there and perform the way he's doing right now. I know that's putting a big smile on his face. I'm sure he is absolutely pumped up being able to get it done here in this one, and he's going to hope to try to get everything rolling, trying to keep all these drivers right there back behind him and continue to pull away. And if he has this big of a lead, I mean, it's going to be tough for drivers to try to battle back. Without a caution flag, without something happening, catastrophically to this number 42, it's going to be very, very tough for them to kind of work their way back into it, work their way back into the magic and back to the rear bumper of this 42 truck. So I think for Winker, he's sitting really pretty out there on the speedway, and he could be in a golden spot to try and capture, I believe, his second checkered flag here on the season with the Metalheads Truck Series. So we'll see if he can do it, if he can get it done here in this one. Is down and across the line. He just completed lap number 41, so we're already 41% of the way through this race, and now all of a sudden, we're inching closer and closer to that halfway marker. We're getting real close to seeing, all these drivers kind of get to that halfway point, so we'll see if they're able to do that here this afternoon. Each and every one of them still trying to race their way up here. They're all still trying to battle. I think tire wear is still going to be one of those key things, one of the key aspects here throughout this run and throughout this race. And that may be, a little bit of a hindrance on the 42 truck later on this afternoon if potentially, he's burning up his stuff. If he's burning up those tires a little bit too quickly out there on the racetrack, that could come back to bite him in the butt here a little later on. But as of right now, man, it just seems like no one can hang with that Muehlberger Custom Homes ride, and we'll see if that continues here this evening as he's opened up almost 4 seconds now between himself and that number 5 rider, Matt Hayden, as Hayden rolls there in position number 2, man. Oh, man, this is a fun one. This is an interesting one because it's always good to see K-Dub having a good run, a good race, and seeing the Winker Nation and the fans in the stands be able to cheer him on out there on the speedway and not playing that on-strategy game that we tend to see him do quite often, where he's more than likely going to be the driver to, trying to save aggressively when it comes to fuel, save aggressively when it comes to tires. Sometimes it works out all right. Sometimes it just does not work out at all for Winker. But here in this one, man, just seems like he's got the pure speed, he's got the drive, and he's hoping to use it all tonight to just put himself up and into victory lane. As Hayden now 4 seconds back behind the 42. Caleb Kleiner there in third. You do see Clinton Woodby and Matthew Catania rounding out our top 5 as Cogdell right there in that 6th position as our top 6 broken away from the rest of the field here. 2.5 seconds back, you do see this 28 ride of Nathan Somerville, Jesse Calloway, Nick Garner, the 6 rider, Rusty Modesty, the 54 of David Trailer, and the 97 of Colton Hardy, all kind of right there tight together back outside of our top 6 on the racing surface. But man, it's racy, man. It's still racy. As much of these drivers are trying to save and try to sit back and relax a little bit, or maybe just try to, keep the tires underneath of them, it is still very, very racy out there this afternoon. These guys are still putting together a heck of a show and a heck of a race for us all to enjoy here today, man. And it's going to continue on that way. It's going to continue on that trend. And if it stays clean and green, it may just work out perfectly here for Mr. Winker. But we'll see if those tires start to fade away, if these guys start to reel him in a little later in this one. As Shauna Flick in the chat says, hashtag Winker Nation cheering on K-Dub here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're a K-Dub fan in the stands, make sure you guys jump into the broadcast booth right now. Make sure you guys jump into that comment section and cheer on Mr. Winker here this evening as K-Dub clicks off lap number 46 here this evening. Hayden still trying to hold off Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner trying to push the subject, looking to try to work his way back around that 5 ride. And now, if these guys have been saving tire a little bit more aggressively out there on the racetrack, then Winker could basically become a bit of a sitting duck here in just a little bit. We'll have to wait and see if they reel up to him, if they can catch up to him here and try to put that pressure to his back bumper. But as of right now, it's looking like it's all 42 here this evening, as we do see Clinton Woodby, one of those championship hopefuls here, looking for that regular season championship. And for the 92 ride, he's now worked his way right back up inside the top 3 on this Speedway and hoping to continue on marching towards the front of the field, seeing if he can try to work his way around that number 5 ride here next, as Clinton Woodby looking to try to jump up into that second position, as now they're almost 2 wide, 3 wide right there behind him, as you do see one driver slowing down on the apron. That's going to bring out our first caution flag of the day here. Ashley Ellison Jr. going to run into some issues. I don't see really any damage out of the 133, but stopped down on the apron. Not sure what's happened here to the 133, if he's ran out of fuel or what may have happened. So I think he was down pit road. Was down pit side, and they get this thing jacked up. They go to work on it. You can see this truck. So as he pulls into the stall, they're going to go to work right here. And they're going to get this thing jacked up. There goes right side tires. They're going to get done work on that right side. They're going to go to the left side. They're going to get the left side tires on this thing. So a good 4-tire pit stop, and he's down pit road for, a good chunk of time there getting service. And I think they never got any fuel into this truck, because all of a sudden, as he gets rolling and strolling back out there onto the racetrack, I don't know if we're going to hear this thing spitting and sputtering, but let's see if we can jump right on board here with them. Here we go, down and out of corner number 2. Starts to build up the speed. Oh, no! He did not run out of fuel. He blew it up right there, chat. Oh, this is a heartbreaker for Ashley Ellison Jr. This is a heartbreaker for Kevin Winker as well, as he's going to see that 4-second lead be evaporated. But you can hear it as he gets out of that pit lane, once he gets past that commitment cone here, and virtually is allowed to re-enter the racing surface in the racing line. The 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. builds up that speed, goes the shift, and it seems like he either downshifts or throws it into neutral. Foot still on the throttle. You hear the RPM just absolutely climb right there. And as they do start to spike, you can see it zeroed out right there. 8,000 RPM. It's just hitting and going right off the chip, and boom. Motor expires. Car is dead. He pulls it down onto the apron, and unfortunately just not far enough onto the apron for there not to be a caution flag out on the Speedway. So heartbreaker there for him, heartbreaker for Winker. I think for a lot of these front runners that desperately did not want to see that caution flag, but luckily enough, it does not come back to bite them, because if they would have pitted there, maybe, a lap beforehand or 2, win a lap down or something, that could have really put them into a difficult spot out there on the racetrack. But luckily enough, that was not the case. He was the only driver that had made that additional green flag pit stop out there on the racetrack, and that is a good break there for the number 42 of Kevin Winker, or for all these drivers that were about ready to go and make some green flag pit stops, as that will also get Rooster Ron and the Lucky Dog the free pass back on the lead lap. So good break there for that beautiful Type S01 ride of Rooster Ron, as he'll get back into the action. So he'll rejoin the field, but out in front, Winker was able to make that pit stop. And now the big question mark is here is, who took fresh tires, who potentially took a gamble and didn't take tires there throughout this pit stop. What is the call out there on the racetrack? As we see Caleb Kleiner headed back down pit road, with Nate Cogdell, Matthew Catania, Nick Garner, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Michael Newman, all these drivers heading back down pit road, trying to get topped up, trying to make sure they get a little extra bit of fuel into their tank, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. As here in the Duck Donuts 200, we see our second Duck Donuts caution flag of the day. As we'll get a quick word in here from our series sponsor, Johnny Johnson Motorsports. now back to green flag racing as Winker sees that green flag flag. Gets a good jump down through that Geico restart zone, and now trying to pull away from the rest of the field here as they see these drivers again all bound back together, and again just 2 wide, 3 wide, beating and banging, battling, looking to try to gain as many spots on the racetrack as they can. And for Winker, he's just trying to hang on to the race lead here as Clinton Woodby looks down to his inside. Woodby looking for the race lead down through corner number 3 and 4. He'll slide in front of Winker. Winker looks like he's going to fall back now into about that 4th position on the racetrack. So maybe you're starting to see a few drivers that may have taken some fresh tires there during that pit stop. Other drivers that may not have taken any tires trying to keep up with the strategy now starting to fade back a little bit, and it looks like Winker may be one of those drivers that may not have unfortunately used any of his tires here, and that could be a heartbreaker there for Winker as he went from leading this race, having a 4-second lead, looked like the strategy was playing out perfectly for him, to now being at outside the top 10 and continuing to fall farther and farther back out there on the speedways. Clinton Woodby has control of this race. He is now out in front as we click off lap number 53 here this evening, and we inch closer and closer to the checkered flag out there on the speedway, man. We get closer and closer to seeing who can try to get it done here in this one, man. This is going to be fun to see who gets the job done, who puts themselves into the winning spot out there on the racetrack. It's going to be tight all the way through, and it's going to be fun to see who's going to hit that strategy perfectly to put themselves into the winner's circle here today, man. It's going to be fun, chat. It's going to be real fun. It's going to be real interesting. I'm not sure who's going to be able to, get it all done and put themselves into that winning spot out there on the racetrack. But it's going to be a dogfight right down to the very bitter end. And I know for each and every one of these drivers, they are not going to want to give an inch. They're not going to back down out there on the racetrack. They're going to take every single run they can, look for every single piece of momentum that they got out there to try to set themselves up for an incredible finish here this evening. But as of right now, Clinton Woodby continuing to hold on to the top spot, and you see David Traylor, our stage 1 winner, right there to his inside. David's looking to try to work his way back to the point as they slice and dice, they beat and bang. Now they're going 3 wide as Matt Hayden's going to poke his nose right back down to the inside. So 3 wide here at the front of the field for the race lead on lap number 55. And 2 of those drivers, the 54 and the 92, Ryan Woodby and Traylor, they're duking it out here for the regular season championship as well. So they're really trying to get it done here in this one. They definitely are. Oh no, look out! Oh no, heartbreaker, caution flag back in on the speedway as David Traylor and the 196 of Caleb Kleiner get tied together. And the caution flag is going to come out. Let's take a look back at it there. As unfortunately for both of these cats, this is the tight racing that we're talking about. And unfortunately, right here, I don't know. I feel like the 196 of Caleb Kleiner, I think he thought they were carrying enough speed and momentum that he was going to clear the 54, or maybe just the way he kind of moves up the track right there. But take another look at it. Obviously, they're trying to side drive. They're trying to run as tight as they can against one another. But let's take a look here at the black line. You see the left front of the 196 kind of on it, and he is kind of traveling more towards the middle. And I don't know, just tight racing, hard racing out there on the racetrack. And I'm sure for the 196, he was hoping that the 54 would be trying to travel maybe more into the middle of the racing surface or down low. And unfortunately, he did not go, and they get tied together, and around they go down through the infield, and they both slide back up onto the racetrack. And as they do, luckily enough, no one else gets into him, man. It was tight right here for Winker. Oh, my gosh. Look at K-Dub. Look at the 28 ride of Somerville. Both able to avoid these guys. So let's see if we can jump on board here with Mr. Winker. See what he can see, as he may need a new pair of shorts out there on the racetrack, as he was far enough back, man. He definitely saw this one coming, but my gosh, it got a little too tight there for him. I don't know if he liked this one, because all of a sudden, woo, right there, Oh man, I don't know how he got through that. I don't know how he survived, but somehow or another, he's able to keep himself out of major contact and damage right there. And now he's going to get an opportunity to come down pit road. We see Winker, Kleiner, Nate Gardner was down pit side. We see Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Somerville, Keith Prince is down pit road, David Trailer, Rooster Roddins down pit side here. All these drivers down pit road getting some extra service done to their race trucks, trying to get them hooked back up. And I do believe for Skylar Berry, he's going to get a lucky dog. So Berry was 2 laps down, but with the lucky dog, he will now be only 1 lap down out there on the racetrack and still in line for another lucky dog if we see another quick caution flag. But cautions, breeding cautions here this evening, and unfortunately, for a few of these drivers, man, that was just some craziness, man. That was some craziness. That was some tight racing, and unfortunately, a lot of these drivers ended up in a not so fun position out there on the speedway, but they're able to, they're able to do a pretty good job. They're able to keep on battling and put themselves into a good position out there on the racetrack. So we'll see, what they're able to do and who's going to be able to put themselves into the winner's circle here, as we still got a lot of racing, a lot of laps left to go here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. It'll probably be, 40 laps left to go here in this feature event. And now we do see Somerville back down pit road. Looks like maybe he's getting more changes or a little extra fuel here. So is Caleb Kleiner, maybe trying to get some extra repairs done as well to that 196 ride. And he also heads back down pit side. But we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. As Clinton Woodby, Matt Hayden, 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack, ready to get back after it, ready to go back to battle here this evening and try to put themselves into what could be the winner's circle here today, man. This could be really interesting. This could get very wild in a quick hurry out there on the racetrack, as none of these drivers are gonna be given an inch out there, especially as these laps click off and we're inching closer and closer to that checkered flag. The intensity level is only going to continue to get amplified, continue to get more and more crazy. And with these restarts, as things get a little bit more wild, drivers start to push a little bit harder and a little bit more aggressively. That's where we see more mistakes happen. That could produce more caution flags, and then it just kind of creates an onslaught and, kind of eliminates a lot of green flag laps out there on the racetrack. So we'll have to wait and see how these drivers are able to, work together and do it out there on the speedway. As here we go, getting ready to go back to battle here in this one. Woo! Who do you guys got, man? Who's going to get it done? Will it be Hayden, Woodby, Modesty, Catania? Do we see Winker battling his way back up there? What about Caleb Kleiner or David Trailer? Who will get it done here in this one? Is down through the Geico restart zone. The green flag is back into the air, and for Matt Hayden, great restart, great launch there in that outside lane. He's able to clear that 92 with Clinton Woodby. What would be down low, trying to carry a lot of speed momentum down the bottom side of the racetrack, but that outside momentum may pay off here down the back straightaway for Matt Hayden. Is Hayden trying to stay out in front, but unfortunately Modesty not right there to his back bumper. That's going to hold him up enough that it may push this 92 right back out in front and down through 3 and 4. He's going to slide up. He's going to clear the fine right of Matt Hayden. We'll see if Hayden tries to cut back down to the inside here, trying to cross him over, trying to steal that top spot back away from that 92 ride. As Clinton Woodby, Matt Hayden putting on a show as 60 laps down, only 40 laps left to go. And we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session out there on the Speedway as these drivers give us the sights and sounds around the beautiful Michigan International Speedway as the Metalheads Truck Series back in action and putting together another great race, another great run for us here this evening as the Duck Donuts 200 quickly coming to a close as we're about to complete lap number 75 out there on the racetrack. Is down and out of corner number 4 and across the line for Matt Hayden, our current race leader. Hayden clicks up another lap in for the number 5 ride. Oh man, only 25 laps left to go. 25 laps left to see who can try to put themselves up and into victory lane here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway. Who's it going to be? As you see this time, things are a lot closer together. These drivers are stacked right up on top of one another, and things are very, very tight here at the front of the field between Hayden, Catania, Clinton Woodby, the 97 of Colton Hardy, that 0-0 of Nate Cogdell. All our top 5 all right there, stacked up on top of one another. Now 3 wide there for that third position. You see Rusty Modesty, Caleb Kleiner, Jesse Calloway, David Traylor, all right there with them. A second and a bit back. You do see Nick Gardner, the 3 of Keith Prince and Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. back there, as well as then a little farther back you do see Nathan Somerville and Kevin Winker kind of playing a little bit of a different strategy here, sitting a lot farther back out there on the racetrack and not really working their way right up to the front of the field here. So this is definitely a bit more of an interesting one for those drivers, because sitting back that far, not really pushing too far forward out there on the Speedway, really makes you kind of question, you know, what is their game plan? Is there a bigger strategy at play here for those two kind of in a fuel-saving mode out there on the Speedway? So we do see Nate Cogdell. Looks like he's going to be the first driver to head down pit road here on lap number 77. So they just completed lap 77 here. It is going to be 23 laps left here in this race for Nate Cogdell. Hopefully he's got enough fuel in the tank of that ride to get him across the start-finish line, but should be interesting to see kind of if he's able to play that out and see if he can put himself into that winning position out there on the Speedway. But for right now, he's just kind of waiting patiently, and now here they come down pit road as well. So they don't wait much longer before they take their chances to head down pit road and make this pit stop as well. So making the call, headed down pit road, and here comes Catania, Matt Hayden, Colton Hardy, Caleb Kleinert, Clinton Woodby, Rusty Modesty. See Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Michael Newman also headed down pit road. And out of all those drivers that came down pit road, one of them gets a black flag. And a huge, huge disappointment out there on the racetrack that's going to kill his run and probably, you know, potentially may eliminate him from contention of the race win here this evening. It's the 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania gets a black flag down pit side, and unfortunately for this number 318 machine, he will get a hold down pit side. He'll stay in his pit stall here for an extended period of time, and unfortunately, this may even put him a lap down out there on the racetrack. Our race leaders have already left pit road. They are gone. They're exiting corner number 2 already, building up that speed and momentum, and unfortunately for Catania, he is still down pit side, has not been released from his pit stall as of yet, and he's kind of just stuck there waiting patiently, hoping to try to get back out there, hoping to try to get back into the action. And here he finally is able to leave pit road. Now he's got to start building up that speed and momentum. Where is Rusty Modesty? David Traylor, these guys will probably consume the race lead, and I mean, they are not too far away from Matthew Catania. Here he is down through corner 1 and 2, finally starting to build up that speed down the back straightaway. You'll start to get that momentum, and there will be the drivers he was with that were battling for that race lead. He now finds them right there on his back bumper, and he is very, very close to potentially falling a lap down out there on the racetrack. That is not a very fun spot to be on the Speedway, and unfortunately you'll have to really try to battle back. You'll really have to look for something here to try to work his way back into the action, back into the magic out there on the Speedway. and see if he can try to navigate his way back up to the front of the field here with maybe a caution flag or two. But we do see a few drivers staying out a little bit longer here. Nick Gardner, Keith Prince, Nathan Somerville, Kevin Winker, they're staying out here for an extended run. Now, I'm not sure if they're hoping to catch a caution flag, hoping that if they do get a yellow, that it'll work into their favor. And if they do catch a yellow, maybe it'll work out for them. Maybe it'll put them into a good spot, but I'm not 100% certain that may play out for them. I think this one may end up hurting them more than it's going to help them out there on the Speedway. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out when the checkered flag flies later on this evening. But look at our front three, or at least the drivers that have already been down pit road that could be battling here for the race win out there on the racetrack. This could be the battle for the lead here in not too long from now, and it's the 92 of Clinton Woodby, David Traylor, the 6 of Rusty Modesty, and the 00 of Nate Congdale, all right there in it. Congdale's not going to be a slouch here. He's going to drive hard in there. He wants this win as badly as any of them. And for the 54 ride of David Traylor, after winning that first stage of the day, he's obviously looking to try to finish in front of the 92 ride, trying to leapfrog him and steal that regular season championship away from Clinton Woodby here this evening. But that outside momentum, man, look at the run that they're able to get. Unfortunately, it kind of seemed right around the outside of that 0-0. Nothing that Cogdell could do right there, as we finally do see Kevin Winker make his way down pit road. So K-Dub making his final pit stop of the day. We're still waiting on Nick Gardner, Keith Prince, and Nathan Somerville to come back down pit road as well. But for Rusty Modesty, once this kind of cycles on through, he could be out in front in that battle for the regular season championship. It's going to be hot here right to the checkered flag, as these two are not going to back down. They're not going to sit back. There are going to be no slouches out there coming to this checkered flag here late in this race. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see who's going to come away with it and who will put themselves up and in to victory lane here this evening. But for the 6th ride of Rusty Modesty, man, he may be sitting in the catbird seat here out in front, as we do see Nick Gardner finally head down pit side. So doesn't Keith Prince. Somerville still rolling out there. We'll see how much farther he can go as Kevin Winker coming out of the pits. You see him just starting to build up that speed and momentum here, hoping to try to keep himself at least in the top 13. But I think that 0-1 of Rooster Rana will more than likely work his way around him. And unfortunately, as that happens, he is going to see, majority of these other drivers, unfortunately, work their way past him, and he will fall back into about the 14th position on the racetrack. He'll need a caution flag to make up all that ground to get back into the battle, and here comes Nathan Somerville. So Somerville will finally make his final green flag pit stop of the day, and now with only 16 laps left here in this feature event for David Traylor, as they come back down across the start-finish line, he will consume that race lead, so he will be out in front. He will be the driver everyone is going to be chasing down, looking to try to beat here this evening. So we'll see who's going to be able to get it done, who's going to be able to put themselves into that winner's circle out there on the racetrack. But as of right now, it looks like the 54, David Traylor, he may be the one that they're trying to beat here, and they're going to have to figure something out here, especially for Clinton Woodby, because he needs to probably finish, at least 1 to maybe only 2 spots back behind this 54 truck to win that regular season championship, and even then, it still might not be enough. So he is going to have to find everything that he can get to try and keep himself right here within striking distance of that QH Designs number 54 ride, and hope that it can keep himself in the battle for this regular season championship. As not only does it come with bonus points in our playoffs, but it also comes with $30 extra into their back pocket here after tonight's feature event. So, that extra $30, man, that's a couple lunches at work throughout the week. That's a little extra momentum booster going into the playoffs. And for Traylor and for Clinton Woodby, they're the only two that can win it here this evening, and they're gonna just keep duking it out. But we'll see here over the closing laps who will be able to pull it out and put themselves into that winning position on the racetrack. And for And the number 54 ride, he's been on a roll. He kind of came back firing on all cylinders here after Woodby had won so many races in a row here. He was on such a roll for David Trailer. Had a good run a couple weeks ago, then ended up putting himself into victory lane last week and trying to enter these playoffs on a super high note and hoping to try to put himself into the winner's circle here this evening with only 13 laps left to go. It's going to be fun to see because none of these drivers, man, none of these guys are going to back down. None of them are going to give an inch out there on the racetrack. They're going to be giving it everything they got. None of them are going to be backing down at all, trying to get it done here in this one as David clicks off another lap. 12 laps left to go. Modesty's there in second. Woodby's back in third, but he's getting a big push here from that 0-0 Nate Cogdell. Caleb Kleiner back in that fifth position trying to play catch-up. So is Matt Hayden and Colton Hardy as they sit a couple seconds back behind that lead pack out on the Speedway. Nick Gardner sits in 8th with Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. back in 9th, and for Keith Prince there in 10th. Then we see Jesse Calloway, Rooster Rodden, Nathan Somerville, and Kevin Winker are top 14 out there on the racetrack. Michael Newman scored in 15th, and Matthew Catania, who had gotten a black flag down pit side, here he is rolling out in about the I believe he is currently sitting in position number 16 on the Speedway, man. That is not a super fun spot to be out there on the racetrack, man. That is not a great spot to be out there on the racetrack. So we'll have to wait and see if he can battle his way back into it here and back into the action out there on the racetrack. And as of right now, though, it's not looking like he's going to be able to get back into it. Obviously needs a big caution flag to just try to get back to the tail end of the field here to try to get back into the battle and also trying to keep himself still on the lead lap. But here, right behind him is our race leader. So you can see him in his rear view mirror. They're going to battle. They're duking it out here for the race win with only 10 laps left to go. Who's going to get it done? Who's going to put themselves into victory lane here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway as Nate Cogdell works his way to the point. So Cogdell now leads the way in the Johnny Johnson Motorsports QH Design 0-0. Down the back straightaway here, trying to hold off David Trailer and Clinton Woodby. The 6 of Modesty's right there as well. And if they continue to keep on battling, keep on switching spots here inside this top 4 battle, we could start to see Caleb Kleiner, Matt Hayden, Colton Hardy start to track them down, trying to put themselves right back into the battle here at the front of the field late in this race. But clicking off another lap, man, we are that much closer to the checkered flag with only 9 more laps left to go. Who is gonna get it done? Who will find themselves up and into victory lane here this evening? Because this is gonna be really, really interesting, chat. I don't know. It's any one of them, man. One big run, one big push on the final lap could open up the door. A slip, a slide, a little bit loose out there on the racetrack. That little slip up by any one of these drivers, and you fall back, quite a bit out there on the racetrack. You're falling back, and unfortunately could find yourself right out of the action and also now down pit side and potentially out of this action and out of this race as well. So it's gonna be really, really tight here. It's gonna be really tight. It's gonna be really fun to see who's gonna come out on top, and it'll be a dogfight, I think, right down to the checkered flag here this evening. But for Nate Cogdell, he's looking strong. He's looking real good here with only 7 laps left to go down across the line. 7 more laps left to go here for that Duck Donuts QH Designs Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 0-0 out there on the Speedway. Only 7 more laps left to go here for that 0-0 machine. And now you do see, unfortunately for Clinton Woodby, he's kind of fallen back into that 4th position. He may be in that danger zone. He did not earn any stage points, and David Trailer won the stage here this afternoon, kind of erasing a lot of the 9-point gap that Clinton Woodby had here in that regular season championship coming into this race. With that gap kind of eliminated now between him and the 54 ride, each and every one of these positions could make a huge difference, could be the deciding factor on who is that regular season champion after The checker flag flies, and with 6 laps left to go, you see Wood be able to work his way back around the 6 machine of Rusty Modesty. You want to wonder if maybe the 92 would just kind of waiting patiently back here for his time to strike again in these closing laps to try to work his way back in front of that 54 ride and trying to, lock himself in as that regular season champion here this evening. But it's not going to come without a fight, man. David's not going to give it up easily, and he knows what's on the line. He knows how important the regular season championship is, and for Nate Cogdell, he's not going to give it up here at all. He's going to battle tooth and nail here with only 5 laps left to go in this race. I don't see the 0-0 ride sitting back at all or giving an inch here to these drivers. He's been hungry. He's been wanting to get back up into victory lane, and being this close to it, man, he is not going to give it up very easy out there on the Speedway. He may throw some big blocks, make some big moves, but you do see the 54 and the 92 both take a big run down to the inside. Unfortunately for the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell, that little bit of a slide he had out of corner number 2 may have been enough for these guys to get that run and to be able to drive down to his inside. Now they'll side draft, they'll battle back and across the line. They are 3 wide for the race lead with only 4 more laps left to go, and you see Modesty, he's going to go for his teammate Clinton Woodby down on the inside, giving that extra little bit of speed, that extra little bit of momentum there to that number 92 ride. And for Clinton Woodby, that may have just worked him out in front. That may have just won him the regular season championship. We'll wait and see if he can hang on to it or if any of these guys can work their way back around this number 54 truck, but as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be Clinton Woodby, but we've seen this lead change so many times with 3 laps left to go. It may still change 2, 3, 4, 5 more times if they're on the racetrack, and obviously a big caution flag could fly out there on the Speedway and bring all these other drivers right back into the battle, right back into the action. As you see the 0-0, the 6 run get a little tight together there. Now it's kind of a 2-car battle here at the front of the field as Clinton Woodby looking to try to hang on to it. Here comes David Trailer, big run down to his inside, looking to try to keep himself out in front, looking to try to take this race lead back away from Woodby. They'll be door to door, down and out of corner number 4. Neither driver is going to give it up. They're going to continue to battle side by side, but back down across the line, it is Clinton Woodby who leads lap number 98. So 2 laps left to go, 2 more laps left to duke it out here in this one. Whoo, doggy, here they go, though. Here comes Nate Cogdell right back down to the inside. He'll take another big run. He's looking for the race lead once again, as they were 3 wide for the race lead, but somehow or another, down at a corner number 2, Woodby and Trailer stay door to door. Woodby's going to battle hard here to the outside. Unfortunately for the 54 ride, he could get very, very loose at a quick hurry if he watched up the racetrack. Could make contact there with that 92 truck, and you see the run on the outside for the 6 ride that will help propel the 92 even farther out in front as the white flag will be displayed one more time here from Michigan International Speedways. The Duck Donuts 200 man has put on an absolute masterclass show for us here this evening, as for the final time down the back straightaway, Clinton Woodby will lead the charge down into corner number 3. Modesty there in second in the 54 at David Trailer. One last ditch effort down through 3 and 4 will slide up, clear the 6 ride there, 2, 3 wide, beating and banging. They'll drag race back to the line, but no one will catch Clinton Woodby as Woodby picks up the dub and wins here at Michigan. And I'm not too sure, but that may have been enough to lock him in as our regular season champion here this evening. We'll have to wait and see what the official word is, because David Trailer comes home in second. He was right there with them, and he was very, very close to potentially putting himself into the fight here and potentially leapfrogging the 92 for that regular season championship here today. So we'll have to wait and see see what the official word is, what the official standings look like, as K-Dub in the chat says, well, that one stings. Had a good strategy until that caution with the 133. Yeah, unfortunate break there, man. That was a very untimely caution flag, Wanker. Obviously with a 4-second lead, green flag pit stops on the horizon, man. You were looking, really, really good here through that middle portion. Then obviously trying to play a little bit of that strategy late in the race just did not work out for you. But man, would have been nice, would have been good to see Wanker back up here in victory lane, but I know for this year's diehard number 92 trunk of Mr. Clinton Woodby, he'll be pretty psyched about this one. Obviously, another win into his books here this evening. I believe this is win number 7 on the season for Clinton Woodby, and I believe this should lock in that regular season championship. We'll wait for the official word from the officials here in just a little bit, but we'll get ready to pull our race winner and the rest of our top 3 up here into the broadcast booth after what was a thrilling and exciting, a super exciting and super good night of racing action here again with the Metalheads Truck Series, man. These guys put on another absolute masterclass of a race for all of us to enjoy. And for Woodby, gets to burn down the house here in Michigan. And man, he is going to be pumped about this one. We can't wait to see what he's got to say up here in the broadcast booth. So let's see if we can get him up here, in a quick hurry. Let's see if we can drag him up right now. Hey, Clinton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Clinton, man, what a run, what a drive for you here this evening. As obviously there was a lot of strategy, tire strategy, fuel strategy kind of playing out there this afternoon, but it comes down obviously after that mid-race caution. Everyone's kind of on the same game plan, the same strategy. You guys all come down pit road together, and all of a sudden as you guys come out of pit road, it's a 4-car breakaway for the race lead. It's you, it's David Trailer, it's Modesty, and that 0-0 of Nate Cogdell, man. And in these final 25 laps of the race, you guys put on an absolutely amazing show for all the fans in the stands here this evening as you guys continue to slice and dice and swap positions out there on the racetrack and battling tooth and nail right to the end as you're able to come out on top and pick up a big checkered flag here, your 7th win of the season here at Michigan International Speedway. Clinton, who take us back through it and kind of what's going through your mind as obviously regular season championship was on the line here tonight. I know David got the stage win. With the win, does this kind of lock you in there? Do you think you have this championship still locked down for the regular season?
No, I needed to get some stage points there at the beginning, but we had limited tire sets, and I decided to just play it slow and easy. Once I seen David pushing, I tried to push, but I didn't have anybody to draft with to catch or drafting help from ahead, so I just decided to back down again and start saving. And then I don't know really how the cautions changed anything. I know that first one I was like 5 laps away from pitting anyways, so it wasn't really too big of a deal for me, but I thought it was going to screw more people up. I don't know who was on what strategy. I know Winker took off after the stage, but I don't know if he was just on new tires, if he saved. I don't really know what was going on. I was just kind of focused on my race tonight. But yeah, that was a pretty good battle there at the end. I didn't think I was going to get it at all. Once Nate got out in front of us, it seemed like he had a truck that would just turn on the bottom a lot better than anybody else's. We were all fighting for tooth and nail just to not hit the wall. It seemed there for the last like 5 or 6 laps. But yeah, it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, really, really good one. Really interesting one out there on the Speedway. And obviously some good late race pushes there from that 6 of Rusty Modesty, helping to get that little bit of extra draft and momentum into corner entry to not only edge out in front, but be able to kind of pull away a little bit there, taking that white flag. And I think that extra push down the front straightaway, taking the white flag here, was just enough to keep you in front of David Trailer and Cogdell and the 6 ride that you were kind of smooth sailing there on that final lap. They weren't able to try to work their way back to you. They duked it out there for position number 2, and it allowed you just to kind of take it easy out there on the racetrack through 3 and 4 and down here across the line into victory lane for your 7th win on the season, man. And now you get ready for the playoffs, man. Obviously getting some more momentum, another win under under your belt, man. How you feeling going in to the first round of these playoffs?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like I was telling my teammates after the race, this race feels absolutely useless because it didn't come with the championship. But I guess I'll just use that for a little bit of motivation to go and actually get the overall championship. I've n- I've never had a season like this before, so maybe I'm peaking. I don't know. So we'll see how long it lasts. But we're going into Richmond, and I've won there once, I think. Usually me and David. That's where I thought we were going this week. I was a week ahead, but me and David's had a battle there usually every race, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, it would be fitting again here, man. It's obviously you and David Trailer have been 1 and 2 here for majority of this season, and it could be another one in our first race of the playoffs next Monday. But Clinton, you park yourself right back up here in victory lane, man. Who'd you like to thank for another great run, strong performance, and another victory here in the Metalheads Truck Series?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Megan. She's always been my number one supporter, and Blair Peterson, the Win a Bid diecast, and you guys for the broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch this one, especially those last few laps. I thought David would for sure just kind of clean me out there whenever I was on his door in the corner, and he would have every right to do so. He already asked beforehand if it's going to come down to the last lap. Are we cool with just roughing each other up? And I was like, your race control. It's up to you. So I told him, I said, I think we'll be able to keep it clean without having any problems. We've made it this this way so far, so I think we'll be all right for the rest of the season. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a battle. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be some great racing, some great shows, and obviously an amazing battle here for that championship this season. And it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be interesting to see how many more dubs you can put into your win column here this season, as already on number 7, maybe a few more in your back pocket going into our playoffs here for the final 7 races of this season. Clinton, congrats on the dub, man. We look forward to seeing you at Richmond next Monday night, and hopefully maybe seeing you right back up here in Victory Lane.
Yep, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Clinton Woodby. It's Woodby picks up the dub and pulls the 92 into the winner's circle here this evening, as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 54 of David Trailer. Hey, David, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, what's going on?
Not much, David, man. What a run, what a race for you guys here tonight, man. Obviously, a lot of tire strategy, a lot of fuel strategy coming into this race, and you guys were all kind of just rolling different strategy here this afternoon, and you went out there, you used up a little bit of those tires in that first run. You end up winning that stage, which virtually eliminates Clinton's, 9-point lead he had on you here going in to this final stage of the day. So you guys are duking it out for that regular season championship, and it seems like it's going to be really, really tight. I'm not sure what the point standings are going to look like, but after a hard-fought battle out there on the racetrack in those final, 25, 20 laps out there on the Speedway, man, you guys absolutely duked it out and sliced and diced it in that final 3 and 4 corner. You're able to jump up, get around Rusty Modesty, and it may have been that one position you may need here for that regular season championship, is obviously Clinton able to steal this win, and you settle in for second again like we've seen so many times in the past. And now obviously it comes down to those final calculations, and where do you feel you felt out there, for the points wise, and also, how do you feel out there on the racetrack after a heck of a performance here this evening?
I'm honestly not sure. I knew it was close. I knew I needed to get as many points on him as I could. And the first goal was to not let him win, and we failed that. So, the second goal was to maximize stage points, and I did that. But I know he also led a lot of laps, so he may get a bonus point for that. I don't remember how scoring works, but he may also get a bonus point for 0 incidents. I was not able to do that. So yeah, it's gonna be tight. I did everything I could. This was another race where clean air was pretty important, but you could make it work if you got just the right run behind a guy. But man, that was a fun race. That last stage after we came out of the green flag stop, I was like, okay, I just need to stay here with him. I don't need to do anything silly. Just need to be smart, and thought I'd save my stuff, but just got more tight that run than I ever had been the rest of the race, and I couldn't make it stick on corner entry as well as I wanted to, and I kind of let people get beside me and side draft me, and just did what I could. But yeah, another P2. I'm not too upset about this one. I gave everything I had. I don't think I was the fastest truck by any means, but clean air was definitely a big factor. But no, good job to the 92. He did everything he's supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, that kind of racing, and honestly, throughout that final, 15, 20 laps, even, the final 5 laps, I wasn't sure who was going to come out with it, as we saw Cogdell right in the mix. Modesty was right there, obviously, between you and the 92 as well. It was kind of anyone's race, that final big run, that big push that one of them could have taken to, get out in front, to get that race lead in the closing laps may have been enough. And obviously, we see Woodby get that run and a good shove down low, as it was 3 wide between you, Woodby, and the 0-0 Cogdell. With a couple laps left to go, Modesty gives a shot to the back bumper of the 92, launches him forward down through 1 and 2, and then he does the same thing again the next time around the start-finish line there, taking the white flag, goes to the high side. You're trying to work the inside still on that 92 machine. Unfortunately, with that outside momentum and that little bit of draft in that bump from the 6th right, kind of propelled him out in front and far enough away that you weren't able to take a shot at him, weren't able to try to get back around him, but you did steal that second spot from Modesty down through 3 and 4.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna come down to having to do something in turns 3 and 4. I knew I couldn't go to the top. Every time I entered on the top, it immediately just wanted to spin out. And if I entered too low, it just got tight. So I kind of just sent it in there and was like, well, I'll just have to dirt track this thing out of the corner. And it stuck actually pretty well for how hard I drove it in. But yeah, the 92 had gotten a really good gap off of us, off of turn 2 on the white flag lap, and just didn't have enough to catch him. But I threw everything I had at him.
Absolutely, through everything and the kitchen sink, Adam, here this afternoon as you park the 54 ride back up on the podium in position number 2. David, another great run, great performance out there on the racetrack, man. Who'd you like to thank for another solid performance out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, first off, thanks to the main sponsor on the truck. Colton and the guys over at QH are huge supporters of mine. I love doing business with them. They're awesome. They support the league, along with Duck Donuts, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, CCR Esports, Blair at the Winning Bid, Admin Box. Everybody's got a hand in making it happen, and we're really appreciative of everybody that does that for us. Big thank you to you for putting the broadcast on. I love going back and watching these. I can't wait to go back and watch this one. I know Michigan's always a thriller. Big thank you to you. And then thanks to the rest of the admins. I just push the buttons to throw the cautions, and they do the heavy lifting. So big thank you to the rest of them. Nate, Colton, and Skylar. They work pretty hard behind the scenes. And then shout out to, honestly, the rest of the guys here on the field. Nate needed a good finish, and he finally got one. He's been running really well, just hasn't got the finish to show for it. And I know he was a 1/100th away from being on the podium, but he had a really good run, so shout out to him. And then thanks to my dad watching at home and my wife for letting me do this.
Absolutely, brother. Well, David, great run, great drive, man. Congrats on another second place finish here this evening. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Monday from Richmond Raceway for our first playoff race of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Aaron.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Mr. David Trailer, as we get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, Mr. Rusty Modesty. Let's get Rusty up here into the booth. Hey, Rusty, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Take a copy.
Hey, man.
Rusty, man, another good run, another good race here for that Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 machine as you park it up here on the podium this afternoon, man. But that was some great racing out there on the racetrack. Obviously, a lot of different strategy throughout this race, but those closing, 20-25 laps, you would-be trailer Cogdell, man, you guys absolutely duked it out here this evening, and it came down to a couple late race pushes, and you pushed that 92 ride of Clinton Woodby into the race lead and into the win here this evening. And then obviously we see David there on those final couple corners able to steal that second spot back away from you as you round out our podium here this evening, man. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind.
Yeah, air air was super important. And if you were in clean air, man, it just felt like you had a big advantage. But thing is, the draft was so strong, at least in the corners. But the draft was so strong that no one could leave each other. So I imagine another lap around, the top four would be in a completely different running order. But yeah, no, it was good fun. It was good battle with those guys. Shocking that we had a kind of a four-car breakout there. So it gave a good opportunity for just a lot of good racing. So happy to take part in it, man. That was a good battle. And shout out to our teammate winning. So congrats to Woodby.
Yeah, absolutely. Going with your teammate there in those couple closing laps down the front straightaway, giving them that extra little bit of momentum, that extra little bit of a bump there to not only edge them out in front with 2 laps left to go, but down across the line to kind of give them that extra little bit of a lead down into 1 and 2, and a good enough run down the back straightaway that he didn't have to worry too much about a big, last-ditch effort from David Trailer down through 3 and 4 to try to steal that win away from him. He was able to kind of take it easy breezy and didn't have to worry about drag racing anyone back here across the line. But you couldn't quite say the same as David was able to pull the trigger there on you and steal that second spot from you as you round out the podium here tonight, man. Rusty, who'd you like to thank for, another great run and an amazing performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, shout out to everyone here at Metalheads that does this every week and that shows up every week and puts it on and puts all the thought and effort behind keeping something like this rolling. It's been really fun. So thanks to those guys. Shout out Misfits. Guys are just fun to race with every week. Boy, if you'd hear our chat, you'd be hard pressed to know that we're in the middle of a white knuckled battle because there's some laughs going on too. So, and then lastly, shout out Lindsay Fitzmaurice. Oh, and thank you. Thanks for a good broadcast, man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate that, brother. It's always my pleasure to be up here in the booth and watching you guys do your thing out there on the Speedway week after week. And we'll see you back out there on the racetrack next Monday at Richmond Raceway for our first playoff race of the season. And hopefully we'll see this 6 ride right back up here in the broadcast booth and on the podium, maybe a couple spots better and back up in victory lane.
That's right. Well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place finisher, the 6th ride of Mr. Rusty Modesty as Rusty comes home in position number 3, man. Great run, great drive there for that 6th ride here this evening. Unfortunately, though, that's going to do it for us up here in the booth as the racing action has come to a close, and the Duck Donuts 200 here at Michigan Raceway goes to Clinton Woodby, man. Woodby gets the Duck Donuts 200 win here this evening in Michigan, and unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here tonight, chat. As if you guys haven't already, if you guys enjoyed that racing action, if you guys enjoyed those battles here this afternoon, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit the like button on the broadcast for us, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Turn those bell notifications on because, you never want to miss any of the green flag laps here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll be right back up here in the booth. More NASCAR truck racing tomorrow night is our first race of our 3-race championship for the HCK Beagles Truck Series tomorrow night. So make sure you guys tune into that one, man. Some more great truck racing. Another championship on the line. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be some great racing, some great battle in there. And for our first of 3 championship races, man, it's going to be another nail-biter and an exciting race out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, though, that does do it for us up here in the booth this afternoon. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you guys back in here tomorrow night. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you guys later, chat. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! What a race, what a run, what a show that these guys put on for us.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that crowd through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back